survive in South Central. A place where busting the gap is fundamental. No, you can't find a shit in a handbook. Take a close look at a rap crook. Rule number one, get yourself a gun. A 9 in your ass will be fine.
Hey now, what's up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and since it's February, Black History Month, I decided, why not? Let's do something a little different and review just some of black movies with a predominantly black cast, some of the better ones at least, in seeing my thoughts and opinions on them. I'm starting with Boyz in the Hood. This is a 1991 film that was directed by John Singleton, and the plot is, it's kind of hard to describe this plot, right? There's not really much of a plot. You follow Trey, who is eventually played by Cuba Gooding Jr. At the beginning, you see him as a little kid who's living with his mother, played by Angela Bassett, and he gets into some trouble at school, gets into a fight, so his mother sends him away to live with his father, played by Lawrence Fishburne. And Trey grows up over the next few years in this town, and it's a hard town to live in. I mean, the gangs, the violence, just everything that goes on in this neighborhood. It's almost like you're guaranteed to get caught up in the wrong people, the wrong situation, and probably get killed or end up in jail or who knows what. Now, what I think of Boyz in the Hood is this movie is pretty great. It is. I really enjoyed this film. This was a movie that I watched a lot as a kid. It's funny to say that I watched it as a kid, because rewatching it now, you almost forget how either violent it is or serious in tone it is with the issues that it deals with. A lot of nudity and stuff going on. I remember being a kid and seeing the scenes where Cuba Gooding Jr., like when he's telling his father about this girl that he supposedly had sex with, and in that sex scene, I remember being a kid and being like, holy crap, am I seeing boobs right now? That was a big deal when I was a kid. But when you're following Cuba Gooding Jr., at first when you see him as a kid, it's funny seeing the little kid who's supposed to be Cuba Gooding Jr. because he looks nothing like him. He's darker. It's like he grows up and gets lighter skinned. It's kind of funny. But I liked his story. I liked seeing him go from his mom to his father, especially because Angela Bassett, you see her as a single parent, and she's trying her best. She's still trying to go to school and get a better job and get a better house and whatnot. So she sends him away. And Lawrence Fishburne, I like that he wasn't just a deadbeat father who, when he gets his son, he doesn't want anything to do with him. No, he's a good guy. He's a good father. He just, the parents didn't end up together. But he's strict in some ways. He wants Trey to learn responsibility. He wants him to not slack and be like all the other kids in the neighborhood who just kind of hang around. Eventually, when they're older, you see that they just drink and do drugs and didn't finish school and whatnot. So I really like Lawrence Fishburne in this movie. He's a great father figure. Especially where there's a scene later on where Cuba Gooding Jr. gets so angry that he wants to go back out there with a gun to get revenge on this gang, and Lawrence Fishburne just talks him down, tells him how this isn't the way you want to go, takes the gun from him. And even when Cuba Gooding Jr. sneaks out to go out there anyways and he's pissed, just the way how he gets pissed, Lawrence Fishburne, where he's just sitting there on the couch, and he has the 2 silver marbles that he's rolling around, and he has a very calm, but you could tell, angry look on his face. And then when his son gets back home, he has a look on his face like he's disgusted, and just leaves and shuts the door. Like, that's a father that he didn't have to yell. You just know everything you need to know about this guy. Some of the other cast, you have Ice Cube, who plays Doe. He's one of their friends. When he was a kid, he was the chunkier one, but you could tell that he was tougher. He was willing to get in somebody's face if he had to. And he was willing to defend and protect his younger brother. His younger brother is played by Morris Chestnut, Ricky. And these two are very different. Like Ice Cube is the gangbanger. He's the one who goes out there and does stuff that he shouldn't be doing, that he knows he shouldn't be doing. He's been in and out of jail a couple times. But even with all of this baggage, even with all of this history, you can tell deep down he's good at heart. He's a good guy. And he knows what he's doing is wrong. He's almost a product of this environment. It's like, in some cases, just in some cases, I do think that depending on the area you're in, it sucks. It sucks because your future is almost destined and laid out for you. But Ricky, he has a more promising future. He might not do the best in school, but he's a good football player, and he's banking on that to get him to college. And he even has this little story about how he had a son with this girl. He's very young. He's still in high school, but he already has a son. And his mom, their mom, clearly favors Ricky. In fact, one scene where Ricky and Ice Cube, they get into like a little fight in the front yard, and the mom goes out there to break it up, but she just immediately grabs Ice Cube and smacks him around. And he's like, "What'd you hit me for? What'd you hit me for?" She doesn't even say anything. So it's like they say that's because they have different fathers, but clearly she favors Ricky more. So that's an interesting situation. Now, Nia Long plays Brandy, who is Cuba Gooding Jr.'s love interest. She's his girlfriend who is a Catholic, so she doesn't want to have sex, lose her virginity just yet. So that's a big issue with them because obviously he's like the last one in this group who hasn't yet. I like her. Nia Long, she always plays the love interest in a lot of these black movies. I noticed that. It's probably because she's really attractive. I'm sure that doesn't hurt much. But just the overall thing about this movie, like when you see this one particular gang who always drives in the neighborhood and they stall the car and they're looking around, causing trouble, and it's just like, this is a life that clearly would suck. Really. And when I say would suck, there's a lot of people who do live like this, who do live in neighborhoods like this. And I think for me, I can picture myself as the Cuba Gooding Jr. character, right? Because even if like I lived in a neighborhood like this, I think I would have turned out like him. Somebody who might have hung around people who did shit like this. Hell, you know, I know some people who do similar things to this, but you never really go down that path. You just kind of see everyone around you making mistakes and doing dumb things, and you don't go down that route. So that's what I like the most about this movie, is not only the honesty about what it's about, in the scene where Lawrence Fishburne is talking about what he thinks society wants from black people, or what they want black people to do to each other, kill each other. It's interesting ideas going on here. Like, you could tell that it's a serious message that they had for the time, but you can't say it's a product of its time. It's still almost just as relevant today as it was then, which is kind of sad, but also what makes it still watchable. So I really enjoy this movie. I do. Everything about it, the story, the acting, the tone, the ideas, just the way that John Singleton obviously wanted to express everything that people were feeling at the time. And I love it. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Boyz n the Hood? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!